They said it couldn't be done. Fuck you, Dad. Here I am. I did it. No, I am glad to be here. I'm very happy to be here. Give yourselves a round of applause for coming out. I appreciate that. Glad I made it. Got in very easily today. That doesn't always happen. I travel a lot. I travel a lot to do shows. I live in Southern California now because that's where my wife lives. And I like her, so that's where I live. But I had some trouble a couple weeks ago. I almost missed my shows because of some airline stuff. I just want to tell you guys the story about how I can kind of make things happen in the face of adversity, all right? So I was doing some shows in Chicago, and I was flying out of San Diego, and I personally fly Southwest. Because I am someone who grew up poor. They give you 2 free bags, and that's all I need, all right? You give me free anything, I'll do whatever you want. I will give you the second weirdest hand job you've ever had right now. If there might be free dinner, you don't have to prove that there's dinner. Just float the idea. Just, yeah! And for all of you, the only reason I say second weirdest hand job, I don't know you all personally yet. It could be your first. I don't want to make assumptions, all right? That's not an arrogant man. But I fly Southwest, okay? And so, they don't have any direct flights to Chicago, so I had a layover in Dallas. Now, I had planned... You're like, if you say any city that's not Bowling Green, we will woo. So I had this layover, and the way I kind of planned it, so it was Thursday morning, I was leaving, I had a show Thursday night. I had a layover in Dallas that was going to be 1 hour. That's how I planned it. It was a 1 hour layover. My flight in San Diego had some mechanical problems, and it was delayed by 1 hour. I don't know if you guys math good here in Bowling Green, but that math wasn't mathin', all right? But I have a little bit of a secret weapon for situations like this. So I'm fortunate enough that I have a good friend. She works at Southwest, and she's kind of higher up on the food chain, so she can make some things happen. So I'm texting her, and I'm asking, hey, I have a show tonight. Is this gonna happen? Do you think they could hold the plane for me when I'm there? And she was like, give me a second, let me see what I can do. So she called the command center. And this is basically how she described the conversation when I wasn't there, but this is how she described it. She was like, hey, my friend, he's gonna miss this flight because of the delay. Can we hold the plane for him? And they said, no. But my friend, because she's very smart, said, would it matter if I told you that he had a disability? And they said, of course we'll hold the plane for him. I'm very thankful that happened. I got to make the plane. But here was the problem, all right? I travel for a living. I am always on the road. I do not really need special accommodations for the plane. It's just not what I need. Here's the problem, though. When I got there, because I just delayed 150 people from taking off, I had to then be Ryan the Wonder Cripple to justify why I just ruined everybody's day. So I'm figuring out what I'm gonna do. I panicked once I got there. I showed up, the flight attendants, they were super sweet. They were very happy to see me. They were like, you made it. And I was like, yeah! You know what to do? They're like, we saved you a seat. I was like, whoa! I spun my propeller hat that I was wearing, I had to play it the whole flight, though. I was the only person that when they asked for my drink order, they also asked, do you want a straw? And I was like, can it be a twisty one? I don't know. I'm not proud of it, but who made it to Chicago to do a Thursday night show in front of 22 people? This guy right here. Working. Happy to be here, though. I'm glad we didn't have to do anything like that to get to Bowling Green. Pumped. Thank you. Me and my rental minivan that they gave me. That is... Hell yeah. I don't don't mind a minivan. I'll tell a quick story. One of my first real comedy vehicles that I had was a minivan. That was what I drove around in, because like when you're like starting, you don't make any money, so you just drive whatever you have access to. Here was the problem with that minivan, everybody, okay? So I got the minivan from my cousin, and he owned a computer equipment business. So he, for his business, took this van, and he had gutted all the seats out of the back, and then put a plexiglass divider between the front seats, and the rest there. Because when it's filled with computer equipment, that makes perfect sense. You slam on the brake, you don't want a printer hitting you in the back of the dome. Made perfect sense. Here's the problem. I was not hauling around computer equipment. It was just an empty back of the van. So when it's full of stuff, it makes perfect sense. When it's empty, it's a mobile rape chamber. That is all. That's the only thing it can be. That age of Ryan Niemiller did not get a lot of second dates. That's all I'm going to say. But we made it. I've had some good stuff going on the last couple of years. I'm gonna share it with you guys a little bit here. I've had a fun couple of years. We started this a couple of years ago. I got married. That's why I thank you. I did it. Got one. Like I said, I like my wife. I know. I don't want to sound too romantic up here, but my wife is okay. She'll do. I like her. She's fine. She'll do. Yeah, I don't recommend taking that one home with you, sir. It's not. I'm saying that because she's in San Diego right now. I'm here. So, I love my wife. She's my best friend. She's my soulmate. She's my favorite person in the world. I love my wife. But like, I have noticed since I started telling jokes about like loving my wife, it's very weird to do that because like loving your wife is somehow kind of edgy. Because that's not how comedy usually goes. Like if you've watched comedy, you're a fan of comedy, you've watched comedy over the last 40 years, you've probably seen someone, a middle-aged white dude looking like me but with hands. And they always come on stage and they're like, my wife's a bitch! Boom, boom, ba-doo! And it's like, yeah, your wife's a bitch because you're going around the country telling strangers that she's a bitch. Like, you're the problem. Like, kill yourself. No one will miss you, all right? Is that too dark? All right, we know the gauge now. You're like, you can't joke about suicide. You don't even have wrists to slit. I love that reaction. Because like 75% of you were like, oh! And then the other 25% were like, you know what? That's actually really sad. He can't do it. He just has to live every day. He just has to power through life every single. Probably can't tie a noose either. This is just, man. Always happy. But I love my wife. She's the best. I love her. She's great. I got married for a very romantic reason. I think we have a classic American love story, I believe. We got married for the very romantic reason that I now have health insurance. When you're over 40, that's the friends with benefits you want, everybody, right there. This last couple of years, I've been getting things cleaned and removed. It's awesome. I feel great up here. I feel Canadian. That's how good I feel right now. I love her. She's my best friend. She's great. She is gross. My wife is a disgusting human being. But look, I'm gross too. But here's the difference. All right, when I just told you guys that I was gross, none of you were surprised. I walked out here and you're like, I bet that guy does some disgusting shit, and you are correct. But my wife is a lovely, petite woman. She caught me off guard. And it started night one. Night one, she did this to me. So we had an afternoon wedding. That night, she unleashed the most disgusting thing that she does. I found out that night that my wife likes to use the bathroom with the door open. No. And ladies, understand something. I'm not coming from that point of view that a lot of soft-ass dudes do, where they're like, women don't do that. I understand how the human body works. Women, you gotta shit too. I'm glad you do. Shitting's awesome. Have fun. But here's an idea for my sweet wife. Honey, if you're gonna take a shit, how about we just close that door behind us? Because that door is a very important barrier for the sanctity of our marriage. I don't need to know, I don't need to hear, I don't need to smell what you are capable of on night one of eternity. Because I don't understand her mentality on it, because I'm not that guy. I don't do that kind of stuff. Anytime that I have to take a shit, I'm in there, I close the door, I run the shower so she can't hear me, I send her on a fake errand. I'll be like, honey, the hospital called, your mom's dead. Because I'm a good guy. She's just in there, just going to town. She doesn't understand the science behind it. I've tried to explain it. There's a science for why this is disgusting. If you take a shit with the door open, guess what? The whole house just became the bathroom now. That's how that works. It's the transient property of shit. Remember back in the day when restaurants had a non-smoking section? Smoke can't read, motherfucker. Either can your nasty shits. Close the door. I eat here. But I love her. I love her. Just nasty deuces and all. I love her. I love her so much. I haven't talked about this too much on stage yet. I'll share it with you guys tonight, though. 9 months ago, we had our first child, everybody. We had our first baby. Thank you. Thank you. My dick works. Who knew? Who knew? Who saw that coming? Not my wife. 4, you got that. Thank you. All right. For the rest of you, it's cum. I'm talking about cum. No, we had a baby. We had a boy. We had a little boy. Now, look. I know this is the cliche thing that you're supposed to say, but honest to God, before we knew what we were having, I did not care if we were going to have a boy or a girl. The only thing I cared about was would my wife let me hold it. Fuck you! None of you would let me hold your baby. Shut up! You're not better than my wife. How dare you? The other day I caught my wife Googling baby helmets. I don't know what that was about. Probably unrelated. Now we had a big boy too. We had a big boy, 9 pounds, 8 ounces. Natural birth. My wife is my hero now. Holy shit. I've never seen anything like that in my entire life. That is one big old baby, all right? Like, my wife is my hero, okay? Because, this next thing I'm about to say, for the women, this is a message for you. I have changed my ways on this since, okay? But before we had my son, I never thought that childbirth was pleasant. But I thought you ladies might have been milking it just a little bit. Until I saw my wife push my head on a fork out of her vagina. And now she wins every argument for life. She's earned it. It was insane. She pushed for 8 hours. She pushed so long, halfway through, she was like, Ryan, go take a nap. You're gonna need your energy later. And it wasn't a trap. I was like, are you sure? He's like, do it, motherfucker! Yeah! Big boy. Didn't beat me, though. He did not beat me. 9 pounds, 8 ounces did not beat me. I was 10 pounds, 6 ounces. And that was without arms. I used to be mad at my mom about my disability, then I realized if I would have had arms, she would have cracked in half. All right? She knew what she had to do for survival. Cuts had to be made. Get it. I'm trying to be a good dad. I'm really trying to be a good dad. I don't know if I'm there yet. Like, I'm doing my best. I feel like I was not prepared properly to be a dad. There's a couple reasons for that. Number one, I hate children. Like, not mine. I love my son, but he's the only child that I have to love legally. Like, I'm already pre-mad at my kid. Because of him, I'm gonna have to hang out with your shitty kids, and that bumps me out a little bit. And then I also feel like I wasn't prepared because, like, when you're about to have a kid, nobody tells you all of the information. Nobody gives you the full story. They only tell you the good stuff because they don't want you to change your mind and start learning how to pull out. So they only give you half the information. Because I'm going to tell you what all my friends did to me. We're like 7 months into the pregnancy, and I'm starting to freak out. This is becoming very real to me all of a sudden. Like, okay, this is about to happen. I'm getting scared. I try to talk to my friends who are parents, hoping they can kind of help me through it. And to a person, everybody gave me some version of this. They'd be like, Ryan, look, I know you're scared right now, but you have no reason to be, because I'm going to tell you something. The first time you lay eyes on your son, you will never know a love like that in your entire life. And if you do not have kids, I'm going to confirm that that part is 100% true. Okay? The first time I saw my son, my heart exploded, all right? I will never do anything cooler than him. He is my best friend in the world. I love him. And if you try to hurt him, I will fight you. You will easily win. Just put your hand on my forehead and let me swing out like a cartoon. But the spirit's willing. You will never know a love like that in your entire life. But there's a second part of that sentence that they don't say out loud. It's in parentheses, so you have to read it or something. And that is, oh yeah, and he's going to be a fucking asshole for a long time. I love my son more than anything, but that dude sucks. He sucks. He's the most inconsiderate human being I've ever met in my life. I had to come to Bowling Green to take a nap, all right? I'm going to sleep in my Pacifica out in the parking lot. I love him so much, but just if my friends treated me like he did, I would not have friends anymore. Because there's just so much that I wasn't prepared for. No one told me the full story. Like that first 2 months, nobody told me that that baby gives you nothing. Just nothing. It doesn't know who you are. It doesn't know who he is. It just works on instinct. My son for 2 months was nothing but a shit and piss factory. That's all he did. Not even a smile? Not even one smile! Statistically, I'm one of the funniest human beings on this planet, and he's sandbagging me. About a month in, I thought he smiled at me. Turns out he was shitting himself again. Which, side note, is the greatest heckle of all time. Some of you might not think I'm very funny tonight. You're not going to shit yourself to prove it. I welcome the attempt, though. And I'm changing so many diapers. At least the diapers, people, you know about the diapers. That gets that gets told. Oh, you have to change a lot of diapers. But nobody tells you how disgusting baby shit is. And this sounds stupid in hindsight, but I swear this is what I thought at first. I knew I would have to change a lot of poopy diapers, but I thought that my son's poop was going to be like my poop, but tiny. And I was like, I've been dealing with my own poop for 42 years. I can handle this. A miniature version, I got this. But it's just it's the consistency, it's... why is there birdseed in it? Why is there birdseed? Who put birdseed? We don't feed him birdseed. We've never given him birdseed. We don't do that, because I asked. We were about to leave the hospital, and the nurse was like, do you have any questions before you go? And I was like, yes, I have one. how much birdseed should I give her? And she was like, none. You never give him birdseed. And I was like, oh, okay. Honey, do we still have those Home Depot receipts? I have several 20-pound bags of birdseed. Need to be returned. And then the weirdest thing is too, like, it's so gross, but you just do it. Like, I'm not like grossed out in the moment. I'm just, it's so weird, like he just does things and you're just like, oh, you'll such and so. Like last week, my son, I was on the road doing something and he had a blowout up to his neck. And my wife and I just both went, aw, that's impressive. But there's no other human being I'd do that for. If my wife called me and told me she had a blowout to her neck, I'm staying in fucking Bowling Green, all right? I'm becoming your mayor. I'm starting a new life here. I'll wear a funny hat so no one knows it's me. But my son is just like, yeah, that's my boy. It was hard to name my son. It's a lot of responsibility to name anything, because like that's his name now. And like I didn't realize this till after the fact. Like I thought I was participating. That is not true. That is not what happened. My wife's really good, just in general, about making you feel like you're a part of it. She's very good at it, because my wife's job, her profession, my wife is an elementary school teacher. And she has, as an elementary school teacher, she has a skill that is called the teacher voice. Now, if you are unfamiliar with the teacher voice, everybody, when she uses it, if you're paying attention, it is condescending as fuck. But if you are not paying attention, you feel amazing about yourself. And lucky for her, I do not pay attention. When we were kind of trying to come up with names, like, in this moment, you need to understand, I'm serious in this moment. In hindsight, I know these names were stupid. But in the moment, I was like, oh, this will be funny, like, whatever. So I'm coming up with stupid shit, and my wife doesn't want to hurt my feelings because she's a sweet woman, but I'm just coming up with dumb stuff. I was like, at one point I was like, we have a boy, we should name him Pac-Man. And my wife's like, Pac-Man? Yeah. That's a really good name, Ryan. Did you come up with that all by yourself? And I'm like, yeah, I did. I used my brain. Well, that one's let's put it on the list. I'm like, yeah. Can I have a popsicle? So full disclosure, we did not name my son Pac-Man. But I did do a little bit of negotiating, and I got my wife to agree the next time we get a dog, Pac-Man, that is a win. I'm already planning it out. I'm going to feed the dog dots and fruit. Occasionally my keys. All right, 4 of you have ever played Pac-Man, all right? You think I'm an idiot now, but my house ain't gonna have ghosts. So when we were trying to actually come up with the name, we had a couple of rules that we set for ourselves to hopefully make the process easier. So when we come up with the name, we wanted something that was a little unique, all right? Something that we didn't personally know anybody who had that name, because people get really cocky and weird. Like, no, we didn't name our son after you, the mailman. Like, that's... So we went in like we didn't know anyone that had that name, but it had to be an actual human's name. There has to be some documented existence of that name actually being given to a human. Because, you know, like celebrities are the worst at this. They'll just pick like a random noun and get like, here's my daughter Tugboat. Like, that's not an actual... Stop it. So it had to be an actual human's name, and it had to have all of the vowels that God intended that name to have. This is for you white women. Quit putting Y's in places where they don't fucking belong, all right? Stop it. So the name we went with was Owen. We went with the name Owen. We like that name. We don't know anyone named Owen. We're very happy with it. But now, here's where the real stress starts. No one told me about this part. Now, I have to sit back and just hope that nothing in the real world ruins that name. It's out of our control now. Things can happen in the world that are going to make this a bad name now. This year, Hurricane Owen could kill 100,000 people. People are going to look at my boy weird. 10 years from now, the world's most notorious serial killer is caught, and his name is Owen Owens, and we're fucked. People have too much power. One person can ruin a name forever. That is crazy to me. We all have too much power. Back in the 1930s, I'm sure there was a lot of Adolfs walking around just minding their own business. Living their lives, tending to their onion fields or whatever they were doing. And then one dude shows up and ruins it forever. It's 2024. Do you guys know anybody named Adolf in 2024? Of course you fucking don't. That's how evil that shit was. It's been almost 100 years. You still can't use that name. So now I've got to sit back and hope and pray that no one ruins the name Owen. And I have to call him by his middle name, Hitler. Relax, it's a family name. I want to be a good dad. I'm trying to be a good dad. I'm trying to better myself. Once we had him, I was like, I need to kind of improve things about myself. I want to be a good dad. One of the first things I decided I was going to try to change about myself, I need to lose some weight. I know who I am, but pizza's delicious. That's not entirely my fault. By the way, thank you for the free pizza before the show. Thank you for that. Gavin and I crushed it. But I need to get in better shape. And what made me realize I need to get in better shape, we're 8 months into the pregnancy, and my 8-month pregnant wife, the symptoms she was describing having are just how I feel every day of my life. I'm like, that's probably not good. I remember one day she was like really struggling. You could tell she was having a hard time, and I was trying to check in on her. I was like, hey honey, how you feeling? And she was like, I feel like shit! I have heartburn, my feet are swollen, I need help standing up. And I was like, fuck, am I pregnant? I don't. Pregnant for 25 years. I'll help you up in a second, honey. I'm gonna go take a lap. For anyone who is curious, some of you might be thinking of it. If you're curious, my son, he does not look like me. He is black. I don't know what my wife is up to. I just have some questions, that's all I'm saying. I'm on the road a lot. It's my wife's favorite joke, I don't know why. Now, my son does not have my disability. He does not have my disability. He has the full set. I think that's what you guys call them. I'm not really up on hand lore. If it was Pokemon, he has collected them all. Okay, that's... It's my son, he does not have my disability. He's real cocky about it, too. But I know it sounds silly. He's 9 months old. Like, I know intellectually he doesn't really know that he and Dad are different in a way. But like, I swear, like on some level, he knows. Like maybe I sound ridiculous. I'm gonna tell you kind of like things he does that makes me think this. You can tell me if I'm being stupid or whatever. But like, I'll give you an example. About a month ago, my son, he's taking a nap. Okay, and he's in his crib, and we have like one of the cameras, so you can kind of like watch him as he's napping. And he's like, I see he's waking up. Normally, I just go in there and I get him. But I was like, I wonder what he'll do if I kind of just like let him do his own thing and check it out. So I kind of just like creeped into the room a little bit and peeked in there. And my son, he was just trying on gloves. pretty asshole thing to do, right? Like, we live in the desert. You don't need those. That's just a power move. You just winked at me. Now, he doesn't have my disability, and like, I have mixed thoughts about that. I really do. And if you don't have a disability, it might be hard to understand. I'm gonna kind of tell you like why it's kind of like weird to me. So when I was born, I had this disability. Okay, I've had this disability since birth. It's all I know, and as a result, I had to learn to do stuff my own way. Like, my mom helped me along the way, but like, I had to adapt. Humans are pretty adaptable. Okay, like if you have a disability, you will learn to navigate the world, but you kind of make your own like little moves to make it happen. That's what I did. Like, people will ask me sometimes like questions about it, like, well, when you were growing up, Ryan, was it hard to learn to like dress yourself? And I'm like, no, not really. My mom just said that no one wanted to see my dick, so I put on pants. That's why I was a virgin until I was 38. I had opportunities, but I was like, my mom said you don't want to see it. I don't know. Why would she lie? So I figured out how to do stuff my own way. What I'm worried about is going to happen is my son, I want to be like involved. So like, what if he like is asking me for like help figuring stuff out? I'm nervous. I'm going to kind of teach him my way of doing things, and it's going to mess him up. Like, I'll give you an example. Here's one that like worries me a lot. Let's say in a couple years, my son comes up to me and he's like, Papa? Side note, I'm having my son call me Papa. All right, that is, we get to choose that. I'm raising him British. Am I right? He's going to be a chimney sweep. And we're going to move to Arkansas so he can start working at age 5. That is what we're going to do. I didn't pass that law. Don't get mad at me. Just be like, Papa, can you teach me how to use the potty like a big boy, just like you? And I'm going to be like, oh. Well, son, first of all, in this house, we call it the loo. Secondly, of course I'll teach you. You have no idea how proud of you I am. You're growing up so fast. All right, I need you to pay attention, okay? Here's what you're going to want to do. If you want to use the potty like your old man, first you want to pull down your pants and sit down on the toilet, because obviously you can't reach your own penis. What? Or if you want, you can do what I do and just have your mother hold it for you. Hey, can you teach me how to shave? Like, just ask your mom, all right? So he's gonna have a full beard, but smooth legs. He's gonna be a swimmer. I already dropped him once. Nobody tell him. I'll tell you what happened. He's like 3 months old. And my wife had already gone back to work, so I'm kind of staying home dadding a lot of the time. So I'm just at home. My boy, he's just like, he's on the couch laying next to me. And I'm checking in with him. I'm like, I'm with him. Didn't just like leave him and then move on with the day. And like, we're hanging out. And he fell off the couch. On the bright side, that's the day I found out he could roll over. Milestone there. But it was a weird moment for me, because like he was kind of like on the blanket, and he started like slipping, and it was one of those moments that happens in your life where it's all like in slow motion. So he's like, because he's 3 months old, he still doesn't know what's happening in the world, so he's kind of like smiling as he's slipping off. And I'm like reaching over, I see it, I'm like, no. And then he sees me coming, and he's like, he couldn't catch me with those things if he fucking wanted to. And then you just hear. And then I felt awful, like I scoop him up, and And now I'm having this conversation with himself. I'm like, now, do I tell my wife? Or do I just let her be surprised when he can't read? I don't know. I told her right before I came here. So every time I take a drink, I see some of you going, he's gonna fucking drop it this time. This is the time. That's one thing that sucks about having a day. A lot of what I've done, especially like on AGT and stuff, I talk about the positives of having disability. I was going to tell you that's one of the negative things. All right, I'm not allowed to just be clumsy. People with disabilities can't be clumsy. It's always a bigger thing. Like when Gavin was up here, my buddy Gavin, if he would drop his water, you all would just go, oh, that kind of sucks, but whatever, you drop things sometimes. If I drop my water, you're all gonna go, oh. That's so sad. Who let him do that? Who's letting him try that? Get him one of those helmets with the beer. We all knew he couldn't hold. Where's his handler at? Where's his handler? That's a bad handle. We're gonna call the state because that's not. It's clumsy. I'll sometimes get in weird things that don't even involve my hands at all. Like I'll kind of be walking and I'll sort of trip on a curb or something like that. And you can just see people going fuck, I thought he could do that. He can't. You think his tiny arms affect his balance? That's why. No, I'm just fat and don't lift my feet up. That's. They're like, here's a cake, I think. And that's why I got third place on America's Got Talent. Inspirational things like that. One person. You're like one of the monkeys with the cymbals just laughing. But no, if you keep laughing, it is a hate crime, and that's very offensive. It's too much. You guys are a lot of fun. This is awesome. Having a great time. I'll just let you take the rest of this show. Sit back here and not drop shit. You think get her? Fuck her up. Was that wheelchair guy? Yeah, she's always laughing at me. What she fucking does. Leave a 3-fingered handprint on her face, whoever knows it was him. It was either a comedian or a Ninja Turtle, but we fucking know. Thank you for apologizing. You were ruining my Make-A-Wish for a second there, but thank you. We're back on track. Not the parched. Let's get to the awkward part of the show. Let me go ahead and do that part right now. We'll get out of the way. I'm going to do the merch pitch. I hate doing the merch pitch. It's weird to me. I'm a bad salesman. I always feel awkward. You already bought tickets, you do all that kind of, you don't need to buy anything from me, okay? Told you I'm bad at this. But I'm still going to try to sell you something, and the biggest reason I'm going to try to sell you something is, well, Crip Daddy need diaper money. I greatly underestimated how expensive babies were. When I found out we were pregnant, I started doing a little bit of research on baby supplies. When I got to diapers, I turned to my wife and I said, can we raise an outdoor baby? Is that... Just tie him up in the backyard, let him run around. That right? We have tall fences, the neighbors won't even know. What, does he keep his bowl filled with birdseed? He's gonna be fine. I thought it was a good idea, sir, too, but then I did a little research and it turns out that is a crime. You cannot do that. I thought it was too, but the law disagreed. The only reason I was able to be not arrested is they couldn't put handcuffs on me. So they were like, just don't do it again, sir. It was Houdini. So we can't raise an outdoor baby, so I'm going to try to sell you something instead. Now, normally, when I'm on the road, I have t-shirts. I do not have t-shirts with me, because I have not slept in 9 months. So I keep forgetting to order t-shirts. That bums me out, because I'm looking around the room, you're all wearing shirts. Clearly you're a fan of the garment. I don't have t-shirts, but what I do have is stickers. I'm a grown man, I went with stickers. That's what happens when your parents let you get a theater degree. You become full of whimsy. That was jazz hands, by the way. That's what happens when your parents let you do that. You learn shit like this. It took me 6 years and $100,000 worth of student loans. I think it was worth it. I got a sticker right here. I know the room's big, you're not all gonna be able to tell exactly what it is. I will explain it, okay? It's my logo. It is the Cripple Threat logo. If you can't tell exactly what it is the Jurassic Park logo. But with this as the dinosaur.
Hell yeah.
Because it is the only shadow puppet I know how to do. Na 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 na. Clever girl. So stickers, very low pressure, everybody, very low pressure on the stickers. I sell them for donations, so whatever amount you think is fair for a sticker, guess what? You nailed it. I'm proud of you. As long as it's above $0, enjoy your new sticker. There's a couple other ways you can support. If you don't want to buy something from me, you don't want to buy a sticker, it's totally fine. Not a requirement for me to like you. A couple other ways you can help. Last year I released my first special, everybody. Released my first special. Thank you. I'm proud of it. It is on Amazon Prime, or if you're cheap and you don't mind ads, it is also on Tubi for free. It is called Unarmed and Dangerous. You think the title's good. It's all different stuff that you didn't hear tonight. So if you liked what I did tonight, you're going to like this. If you hated what I did tonight, well, I got a second fucking chance. You can get on there, Unarmed and Dangerous, Amazon Prime and Tubi. I also have my own podcast that I do. It's called The Cafeteria. I'd appreciate it if you listen to that. I do it every week on Fridays. And then this sounds stupid, but this really does help. And this is 100% free. If you're not already, please follow me on social media. It sounds so dumb, but those numbers really do matter. That's how people will book you for shows. They want to see if you have a following and all that. I try to put stuff up. I always try to be, communicate with people on there. I'm on everything you can think of. It's at Cripple Threat 8. That's the number 8. Because because clearly there were 7 cripple threats before me. But I have risen to power. I am their leader now. Some of you seem confused, like you don't know how the cripple threat works. Let me explain it as best I can. Like if I had to compare it to something, it's kind of like the Pope. Or like when one dies, a new one gets named. You can tell when they picked a new cripple threat because white smoke starts billowing from the top of the Shriners Hospital. Fuck you, that one! After everything else, that's the one that puckers up your able-bodied buttholes, that one! I can't really see all of you because it's dark in here. I might be the only motherfucker, me and wheelchair guy might be the only motherfuckers who ever actually were patients at the Shriners Hospital. Did you all forget that I have this? You're keeping me from bullying me? You get offended by weird. If I had middle fingers, I'd be waving them at you right now. Now I feel like I gotta fix this. Because I'm almost done with the show, but now it's weird. I don't think I hate the Shriners Hospital, so let me fix this so we can finish strong. I did not hate the Shriners Hospital. It's a joke, all right? I owe a lot to the Shriners Hospital. I love the Shriners Hospital, okay? It's a true story. When I was born, the fingers on this hand, they used to be fused together, like the 2 on this hand still are. But when I was 3 years old, we went to Shriners. And if you aren't familiar with how Shriners works, they're able to have children with disabilities come in, and they give them free medical care, free surgeries. They take really good care of them. They're amazing. They're the best. They took care of me. They gave me this free surgery. I'm an old trailer park kid, all right? When I was growing up, I didn't have a bed, but I could grab shit, thanks to Shriners. So they're the best. When I was 3 years old, they did the surgery. They split the fingers. You might not be able to tell from out there, but I got to show if you kind of like are into medical stuff, you can see like the skin grafts, how they did like all that, the scars there. A little fun fact. Since it was like 1985, 86, skin grafting wasn't as good then as it is now. So at that time, the only place they could take skin from that it wouldn't scar that place was your groin. So after the show, if you shake my hand, just know that you're touching my balls, and I thank you. You're doing the Lord's work. If you want to know if you have a good handshake, just watch the leg. Watch the leg. But Shriners did this surgery for me, and everybody, that's why I can masturbate today. So I love the Shriners Hospital. They won't put that in the promotional material for some reason. Like every time I contact them, like, did you get the video? And just... See, I got you back. Where's my podcast? It's everywhere. That podcast, Spotify. What's that? XM. It's not on XM. I'm not that famous. I love you, but I'm in Bowling Green on a Saturday. All right. If you know someone at XM, please tell them. But otherwise, it's just dick jokes on the normal stuff. XM, you flatter me. Thank you. Let's do one more story here. Let's do one more story. Thank you. It was either you were excited to hear one more, or you're like, one more is all we could fucking take. That's fine. I've already been paid, so I don't give a shit. It's all bonus. So one of my favorite things so far about having a son is I now have proof that I've had sex. At least once. Who's unfuckable now, every girl I went to college with? And then I just hold him up like the Lion King. Then I see the look of terror on his face because he knows I shouldn't be holding him like that. I like having sex. I like having sex. That the same lady who kept laughing earlier? I now know what your kink is. You're what are referred to as a devotee. Look it up if you want to see some shit. Don't! So I pay my mortgage. I like having sex. I know I'm breaking new ground as a comedian, but I enjoy sex. I know for some people that's weird to hear. You're not used to hearing people with disabilities. Like, we're usually not allowed to be like sexual in nature. But we people with disabilities, we enjoy sex too. We just don't usually have it all that often because it usually involves like a pulley system and a spotter. But do I really want to get a mechanical engineering degree to get laid? Well, it's like, that seems like too much. But I like having sex. I'm a big fan. My wife, she's powering through. She knows I'm doing my best, like I'm giving it the old college try, like I'm trying, you know, like, that shouldn't be a surprise to anyone. Not one person saw me walk on this stage and was like, I bet that guy fucks like a jackhammer. Like, I know who I am. I've been talking for 52 minutes. I needed a nap 30 minutes ago, everybody. Like, I know. But I don't want to sound selfish, all right? Like, I'm a big fan of sex, but like, I want my wife to have a good time too. Like, I think that's very important in a marriage. Like, both people should like enjoy the act of that. So like, I'm doing my best. I take requests. So I try to do things my wife likes. Like, I can't do everything she wants me to do, but she wants me to choke her, and that's not gonna happen. She'll be like, choke me, Ryan. Like, I have been. I'm actively doing it right now. Choke me, Ryan. Well, here's 5 crackers and no water. Did that do the trick? Am I good at sex now? Am I the sexman? I wanted her to call me the sexman. That's what I heard. So I try my best. My wife's really supportive too. She's like, yeah, Ryan, you are doing a good job. I am gonna come, I am. And I'm like, yay! Can I have a popsicle? All right, Niemiller, thank you guys all so much.